Alright guys, Scrappy again, so I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. One of the biggest LAN tournaments we're going to get for the next couple of months went down a couple of days ago now. The KSUN $50,000 tournament. Los Angeles Thieves, they take the victory, beating OpTic in a very controversial grand finals indeed. Nadeshot, though, responds to all the drama and says, hey, the OpTic guys, if they complained about staying up too late, about some of the technical delays, that should be no issue for a guy like Dashy, who's actually used to it. Does Nadeshot have a point that the asterisks around this event don't really count for much, and that Los Angeles Thieves are comfortably the best team in the game after the grand final results, although the entire tournament does not necessarily paint that picture so clearly? Very much interested to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, thought this is pretty cool to look back on, really. 4 years ago today, or yesterday I guess, when Hex officially announced that he had reacquired the OpTic gaming brands. Wild times, really. And I know there's been some speculation as to whether there's going to be more drama with regard to the OpTic ownership stuff, because for several years, ever since OpTic first, got into bed effectively with Infinite Esports, wasn't it? And they started to take over more and more of the organization. Hex one day turned up to the headquarters they had going on and realized, hang on a second, these guys are working like 9 to 5 normal office jobs. They don't understand the fact that esports usually happens on a weekends, right? And there are no days off. And Hex quickly realized that, the people that he sold the organization to didn't really have the best interest of the brand in mind. And things started to get, kind of go south between the relative ownership parties. Then, as it turned out, obviously Immortals came in. They bought the picture of Hex, and Hex then decided to go with Scump and everyone else elsewhere, and ends up with NRG, right? Buys the CDL spot with them, makes it the Chicago Huntsman. That becomes the home of OpTic for effectively a year. Then Hex was able to, 4 years ago, going into the Cold War season, buy back the OpTic brand, reacquire the brand name from Immortals, and then that spot went to the Los Angeles Thieves, and then it was still OpTic Chicago on the Huntsman NRG organization for then, but then it was the next season where the big drama happened, when OpTic then parted ways with NRG. They partnered up with HyDra and Envoy, and, basically merged with Dallas Empire, right? So there was all sorts of behind-the-scenes drama involved in this. I think, definitely it soured the relationship between Hex and Andy Miller, CEO, co-CEO of that NRG organization. But look, that was 4 years ago now, and 3 years ago the big merger happened. Since then, it's been pretty stable, right? Now, we don't really know what's happened to HyDra, like where is this guy? Of course, former top dog over at Envy. And Envy are now kind of defunct on some level, right? The headquarters of Envy in the heart of downtown Dallas, that's now been rebranded to just the OpTic headquarters, which was inevitable, but it still kind of feels like, OpTic at the front end, Envy might be the back end still on some capacity of what's going on OpTic. But then, of course, we heard the rumors a couple of months ago, pay cuts starting to come through, the players not able to get as paid as much as they did the previous year, some of their video creators maybe out of the picture as well. So OpTic clearly aren't swimming in money as many of the organizations were a few years ago when venture capital was rife, and they've got to be more careful on where they spend their money. I think the hope is for many fans is that we don't get more drama, right? More ownership drama with OpTic, as currently Hex is partnered with Envy. Still technically that seems to be the case on some level. I'm not sure what the arrangement looks like behind the scenes. I'm just hoping there's not more drama on the ownership side, because obviously there's been, with a couple of things with the OpTic brand over the last couple of months, there's been some speculation as to whether there could be anything happening there behind the scenes. The reality is the OpTic on the actual server itself in a very good position, right? Dashy, he's the, 1v3 merchant. It seems right now clutches this nice one against Attach and the boys on Cloud9 the other day at the big KSUN $50,000 tournament, which OpTic made the grand finals of, but did not quite eventually win. Speaking of Dashy, he did give his comment on looking at an Anaheim event. I was interested as well because the Stocksman gave his thoughts, and so did JKL on, if you guys had to just straight up choose cities to go to, where would we go? Like, if we had to choose 3 cities, what would we do? Now, Ace lives out in LA now, so of course he's going to say Anaheim, but I'm not too far behind him on agreeing with that one. I'd probably have London first, then Anaheim, but look, it is what it is. Then Australia and New Zealand. It'd be really cool to have an event out there again. So, look, I agree with Jake Hale as well, that Barcelona, Madrid, Paris, Chicago, Atlanta, these other cities. I think the cool thing is, hopefully in the COD League, we can maintain going to the better cities, because back in the day, before the COD League existed, before the CWL existed, lots of things were run on a budget, and for good reason, but it meant that there were lots of events in, you know, Raleigh and Columbus and places like this. Nice places, I'm sure. I've never been to those cities, but not like the premier cities that the organizations are associated with. Now, it's more expensive to host events in those cities, so that is the downside. But I think it probably does make for a better and more exclusive and prestigious league on some level. But let's talk about the situation with Nadeshot, because he's been in a lot of drama over the last couple of weeks, and it actually started right about here yesterday. And look, Nadeshot leaked this accidentally, but it was been getting talked about all over social media, so I thought I'd at least mention it. And look, he's been doing a subathon over the last few days. Obviously, he's going to make a lot of money. And do you guys remember when Shotzzy turned the stream on for maybe 7 days in a month and made 50 grand in a month? This is the amount of money that these guys can make. And look, if you guys want to donate to Nadeshot, like, you know, by all means, I've got no problem with that. As far as I'm concerned, Nadeshot deserves all the bag that he gets. But look, we believe that Nadeshot took a $200,000 pay cut to ensure that he can actually sign the roster of Scrappy, HyDra, Ghosty, keeping him on, and of course Envoy as well, and moving them out to Texas too, because Thieves didn't have the money to fund that if Nadeshot kept his full CEO salary. But that 200k pay cut that he supposedly took, he's made that back in a month on Twitch. It's actually kind of wild to think about. Now, like, he does have 50,000 subs on Twitch right now, and you know, he makes a lot of money on ads as well. But just to think that in the last 28 days, last 30 days pretty much, he's made 72 grand on just ads and 238 grand total. It's absolutely insane. So, like, this is the money that can be made on Twitch right now. Obviously, Nadeshot has streamed an ungodly amount of hours and deserves every penny, I think you might well argue, of the money he's made this month. But still, like, the amount of revenue that can be gained by streaming on Twitch is substantial, and pros or players that don't do it, I don't really know what they're doing, to be honest. When you've got the talent to play a game at a high level, why not do so even? And some of these guys have a great personality too. I think Flames has done a good job on it lately. Havoc has done a good job on it lately as well. But Nadeshot's team, the Los Angeles Thieves, they won the showdown, the $50,000 tournament. Scrappy wins another championship here in the off-season. Scrap, HyDra, Ghosty, Envoy, first place, $40,000 earned. Los Angeles Thieves, congratulations. But how much of a Mickey Mouse tournament was this one? It's obviously like a Mickey tournament to some degree. Firstly, all the teams weren't even there, right? So, you know, who knows who else could have won. I wouldn't say it's like the home series from back in the day, but you guys remember in MW19 when they would do the home series, and one tournament there would be FaZe and Dallas would be there, and maybe FaZe would win, and then another tournament there'd be OpTic and Dallas there, and then maybe OpTic would win. And then the question was, well, we've not even had a tournament because it was 8 teams would attend these home series out of the 12 teams in the league. So you'd end up just getting FaZe not even playing OpTic. I guess back then it was Chicago Huntsman, but you get what I'm saying. And it'd be like, okay, who's even the better team? We don't really know. So any tournament that doesn't have all the teams there is always going to be a bit Mickey Mouse. But I guess on this occasion, we did have the 3 best teams. Like, if you had all 12 teams there, would one of Thieves, OpTic, or FaZe won? I think it's pretty likely. It's not guaranteed. Of course, it's very early days and things can be quite dramatic. But still, Thieves obviously did a good job getting the victory regardless, and having all the top teams in attendance was impressive for Kaysen to achieve, and he was never going to get all the 12 teams anyway, right? I mean, like, that was just an impossible task. But as we know, OpTic took down Thieves in the winner's side of the bracket in order to get to the grand finals, and look, in the grand finals, you could very much argue that it should have been a double best of 7, or it should have been a 1-0 advantage for the winner's team or whatever, because, you know, there was no advantage. Now, to be fair, that's the way the CDL does it, to be honest. Like, they don't give an advantage for the winner's bracket team, but OpTic, they took down Thieves. Thieves went to losers. They knocked FaZe out of the tournament. They made it back to the grand finals to play OpTic. Now, in that time frame, OpTic had spent like 5 hours waiting for this series. Thieves were better warmed up after just beating FaZe. OpTic were playing zombies backstage. Like, it wasn't exactly the most competitive environment ever, but nonetheless, the Thieves boys, they loaded into the server. They got the job done. They won the tournament. And the OpTic guys after the tournament were like, look, congrats to Thieves, well played. But obviously the implication was that this wasn't really a realistic showing of the two teams' respective strengths, and OpTic beat them earlier in the tournament as well. But I did want to share what Nadeshot had to say on this, right? Because, you know, joking or not, he is talking about here how there's lots of people saying, oh, well, OpTic, too tired, or it was too late at night. And totally understandable on some level, but, you know, Nadeshot doesn't necessarily agree.
That's cringe. Yo, here's the only thing that I have to say. Sometimes it's like a little bit of a bummer. Listen, of course the event went on super late and it was a problem for sure. I see already a lot of Reddit comments saying OpTic was too tired for the finals. That man Dashy stays up till like 9 a.m. every day. And even before the first match when they stomped Thieves earlier in the tournament, they literally were saying Pred looks so checked out, he's so tired from the jump. So god damn it, I don't care. The players on Thieves had to stay up too. $40,000 on the line? Yeah, right.
All due respect.
And at the end of the day, look, both teams faced the same circumstances to some extent, and I think you've got to give credit to the winner. Now, look, does it mean anything in the grand scheme? Not really. It's a decent prize pool, but what really matters is when the teams turn up to Barcelona in a couple of months' time and actually get things underway on LAN. Of course, it also matters what happens online when they start playing in what we think is going to be just a couple of weeks' time as well, due to be announced probably very soon indeed, if not already, by the time that this video goes live. So there's lots happening over the next few weeks. I think we are going to see some great battles this year, and that's what I'm excited for. FaZe versus Thieves, it still feels like early on. Scrappy has Drazah's number. That's a storyline that's never going to go away, it seems. OpTic versus FaZe, I wish we got to see it at this event, but no such luck so far. But it's OpTic versus Los Angeles Thieves, which has always been a great rivalry in the history of the league, and that does not seem to be going away anytime soon. But at the end of the day, you know, like Dashy might be used to staying up late, but and the other guys on the Thieves side are probably the same is true for them as well. I guess there was always going to be talk about it, but the reality is Thieves, you know, they played the better COD in the finals, they won the tournament, and that's pretty much all there is to say. But I'm sure the discussion on this is not necessarily going to go away anytime soon. Just one final thing to close out we thought was kind of interesting. CDL teams with the highest LAN win-loss in a single season. So OpTic this year were 18-7. So were FaZe in 2024. Now obviously FaZe 2021 was a difficult one. They were 6-2 on LAN, and even in 2020 they were 8-1 on LAN, as were the Huntsmen, but of course they weren't full LAN seasons. So the best record, both of them, like even 3 of them were set this year. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? I guess it goes to show how top heavy the league was this year, that the 2024 Toronto, FaZe and OpTic were all up there as top 4 highest ever LAN win-loss percentages over the course of a single season. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
I love that. I love that.
Get him. Fuck him against the bomb. 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 Explode in it.
Oh, come here.
Explode in it.
Oh. How am I alive through that? I don't know how we both just lived through that.
Yeah,
the power of love.
Yeah, he's
probably in house room.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, take that man. Take that man.
Wow,
Yes!
Down he goes.
Oh,
Down
you
he
hear me?
goes.
Oh,
Down he goes.
yeah.
Down he goes.
I like doing it on barrels.
Yo, how demoralizing it being dead watching your boy get fucked.
He gets a kill on me. He's like, oh my god, it's winnable. His heart starts beating a little bit, and she's instantly taken.
Poor guy.
Oh my god, this poor
Before he
soul.
can even blink, he's in third person.
Where he's like, where was last? Oh, taken against the barrel.
Put this to bed. Bomb plant in progress.
Just not saying a word, just taking him out off the cliff.
I have him. I'm chasing him. He's our side A.
I'm telling him.
Shoot.
He's stunned.
I got him. Get it. Go to everyone here.
Everybody fuck him.
Let's spit roast him.
Okay, everybody, fuck him out the window. Fuck him out the window. Bring him over here.
Fuck him out the window.
Fuck him out the
Yep,
window.
I want to see palm prints, bitch. I want to see palm prints.
You broke their momentum. Now push them back.
I would never play this game again.
Dude.
I would go play
such
Apex.
scenic little areas.
Dude, I would go play Apex.
This
I'm getting
view.
fucked to the Tuscan Valley
That's
over
a
there.
good view. That's a good view.